Let me tell y'all something. They keep putting these, I said a commercial I don't like, and they've been playing it ever since. And I'm pretty sure it's the people that's wanting me to do this test. Since you decided to keep on crossing me, I stop everybody from doing it all together. Now look, they said they was hiding. They said they was hiding all of my positive lectures, hiding all the good that I was doing, showing all the bad that I was doing, and making sure I wasn't growing. They were binding me through this test. Might as well have put a gun to my head to do the test. Well, I'm gonna do everybody something better. I'm finna make everybody stop doing something like that altogether. I learned something in that test. First, farmer, I wanna say, if it's a Peggy and a Kareem in my energy, and if it's who I think it is, you part of my flow. So if you've been attacking me the wrong way and something physically been going wrong with you ever since, that's what it's from. But if you helping me, never mind what I said. 'Cause I've been hearing them names a lot lately. And remember what I said, the symptoms is when anybody ever crossed me, it never failed. People have been trying to bind themselves to me since I was born. People have been trying to destiny swap with me since I was born. God gave me, every angel got a unique gift, and one of my unique gifts is my energy always returned back to me. I had a bad habit when I started noticing this. I would intentionally put myself in harm's way just to get my energy back. And my energy would come back and protect me so fast, it'll blow your mind. But now, that's when Jesus said, you need to grow up. Jesus said, you need to grow up. I always want God there. But, then got spoiled. God has spoiled me greatly. But anyway, I learned something in this test. I learned that you could lose parts in this test. I learned that they could shift parts in this test. They could take parts from you pretending like they love you and give it to the person they really love. But I couldn't see, I was trying to see how is that even possible? Almost as if, I ain't gonna say that. But, cause I know it's a hell float. I know it belongs on a hell sail, that test do. And I know it's a sail on hell's float. So what makes the power so unique about this ability? So now how do I look into this? I have to look into this in fornication and one of the sins that Jesus said don't do. Now let me take you to the depth of the sin. This is what I learned. I didn't want to talk about it because I'm really not sure about it. I would have had to do it a lot longer to be absolutely for sure about it. But when I realized they was trying to bind me, take my energy and give it to a complete and utter opposite of me, but it has the image like it is me. Lord knows we don't need no more bad in this planet to make it even worse than it already is. So may God please forgive me. I had to hurry up and stop immediately. Let me show y'all how it look. So let me show you the ancestors in these so-called entities or deities or gods that y'all say over there. They really are your ancestors. They God's children as well. They just a lot older, more powerful, and they work for God. Every every bit of energy work for God, the dark and the light. Always remember that. Now let me put this in a category for you. Now imagine a tower. They say y'all switching this around, so this really go to y'all farms and y'all barns and y'all keep swapping up stuff. Cause I want you to see how easy it is to sell your soul without knowing, and show you that there is a hell to go to after you leave here. And don't believe the hype that the devil gonna give you something gift when you get there. So what it is, you gotta imagine a pole. This pole go from hell to heaven. Around this pole is energy, ancestors, guardian angels, which to me are one and the same. And it goes from lower vibration to high vibration. Somewhere in the middle where you break ground and you leave your angelic vibrational realm and you go to the hell realm, you have to go through death, basically. So it's almost like death is that middle God of when it comes down to you descending below where God even thinking about going to. And like I said, to me, they like best friends. Okay? I like to call them my grandpas. Well, you know, God my dad. But, you know. So, that's why I knew that even if I went on the dark, I was a king, as I am in the light. When you stay in the spiritual realm so much, you learn all this stuff. So, in this realm of it's energy. All the deity, all the entity you ever thought of, that heard of on YouTube, whatever, they exist. But it's a lot more than that that you ain't never heard of. And they work this pole. And they work your energy. I like to use a card reader for an example. Let's say you're a card reader and you're in your angelic ability. Well, you're talking good. You're talking good, you give it good advice. But let's say you started going to a lower vibration. Well, then you have to descend past Anubis, basically, past the Reaper. And then that energy shifts. But it still somewhat sort of give you the same energy as if you don't notice the shift. You got to really pay attention to the shift. For me, I noticed it when, let's say you're doing a reading and it start off good and then it just end bad. That's probably pretty much how it is. Like, they're not going to give you all the good information. That ain't their job. So you got to understand frequency of vibration. You in a low vibration, they're not going to give you high vibration. They're going to give you enough to where you got to figure it out on your own. I know I'm hollering because this thing up too loud, probably. So, now you see that there pretty much is a heaven and a hell. Okay? And you can easily look at earth like purgatory. So you can look at the earth like, okay, heaven, purgatory, hell. I do, but you ain't supposed to. I do. Now let's go on to this test. So I'm looking at this test. I know I'm telling myself, I know this test ain't of you guys. I know this test ain't of you. But I started learning about the art, so I started learning about this test. And I said, why are they using this test? And then I noticed how my body was changing. Not just my root chakra, but my skin. Things about me was changing. Just like it was when I was doing drugs. But see, when you try to bind yourself to me, and when you try to think you stealing from me, see, you can only borrow from me because you don't know who I am. Even if you my parents, you don't know who you messing with. My energy only lets you borrow. You can only rent from me. It always return back to me. Always. That's my angelic abilities. One of them. Just one of them. That energy belongs to me. You have to get tied with me in a healthy, good way. Like somebody on social media. And then your energy pretty much like a belt and it go back and forth. And you basically both of y'all energy support one another. There ain't nothing you can do about it. That person can move on, you can move on. Y'all ain't even together, you never been together. That don't matter. You still part of the same tree, and you connected with your tree a good way. So let's go back to this test. I'm finna shut the test down, all the way together. Cause some of y'all that's putting that test out and think you're doing it for money don't even know how deep this thing goes. So I had to go beyond the test because I can't just say the test. The test is from the hell, and it's a hell test, and the test is this, and you ain't gonna believe it, but let me show you how it look when you just commit that sin. So, at this pole that got all these angelic beings in it, all these different energies in it. Believe it or not, God sits on the Most High. God overlooks this whole pole of all this universal energy. And by the grace of God, thank God, Jesus and God always paying attention to my energy. And that's how I learned this. So when you're doing that test, I realized, and let's just say not the test, but we're gonna call it the test, but we're gonna call it, when I say the test, I actually mean fornication. When you fornicating, what happened is, you might do it for a while, but what happened is, you might do it for a while, but what happened is, this is what happens when you do that test. A few things could possibly happen. First and foremost, you're probably gonna get contaminated real bad. Because if you fornicate, you're probably sleeping around with any and everybody. And that's gonna be partially of your curse. All right. On another end, let's say you trying to trick the sin. So it seems like you're not sinning. And you're not sleeping with people. You just, doing the test. Well, it's like the energy take from you. It takes your measurements from you. And somehow the witches and warlocks learn how to cipher this energy. They say you can get it back, and you can probably. All right, now watch this. To get it back is harder than a needle in a needle stack, a particular needle in a needle stack though. Cause it's like your frequency gotta vibrate. Let's say you lose your measurements. That's the trick in the trap. Once you lose your measurement, they call it stuck. It's past choking and it's past rolling, it's calling stuck. Now imagine this pole. So this pole, where they say, I don't want to teach that part. I don't see. Can I teach that part? Well, this pole, imagine, it's 8 billion people in the planet, but we must understand that it ain't 8 billion people is not the number of the people that done been in this planet since this planet been here. The numbers of the humanity and the numbers of the energy that done been in this planet since it been here is uncountable. It's uncountable. Now watch this, I'm gonna show you the power in this test. That's why I said don't deal with it, because anybody who dealing with it, you could possibly lose your soul dealing with it. So what happened is that you lose. Now I'm calling this test, remember now I'm saying just fornication though. I'm just saying the test though, instead of saying fornication. The test. So what happened is God sees you doing what you're doing and you ain't supposed to be doing it. So basically God gonna give permission to that energy to take what you already got and get rid of it. Take what you already got and get rid of it. And what happened is, all right, let's say it's 8 billion people. Times 8 billion times 30 or 100. That measurements we're gonna call beats that you just lost. Now it's gone into that atmosphere that's 8 billion times 30. Now you gotta give off this certain frequency, which in other words saying you're gonna have to vibrate way into your higher self, and which is gonna make you prepare you to be lukewarm. And that's gonna consider you as being a great sinner. But there's another way. I'll tell you that later. And it's the best way. It's the best way. So you got to give off this freak. This is what it really looked like. See, some of the people that's even putting this out, even the witches and warlocks, probably don't even know it worked like this. But everybody being monitored, everybody, like the people who harass me, everybody being monitored, all these people being monitored, everybody. If you're doing it willingly or being harassed to do it, all this is being monitored. Abused, all that. So you give off this beat, which is your measurement. Yeah, you give off this beat, which is your measurement. It goes off into that atmosphere and it leaves you. So that will leave you stuck in the physical. Now listen, you ain't got to actually be doing the test now. It's really just fornication. God see you sinning. You got to have faith in God. You probably just a late bloomer. Possibly now. This is rough. Take it with a grain of salt if you want to take it with that. I didn't want to teach on this until I really got it, but I would have had to keep doing the test to really get it. But I'm going to tell you what I feel like I got thus far. Because it was beautiful to see why my brother Jesus taught us about certain sins in the first place. See, in this case, we learn why fornication is a sin. Because God made a woman for all of us. It's so many women for each man. It's so many men for each woman. So it's like the energy of the universe finds that count, that balance. So if that is off, if the energy is not coming to these people, then that tells God, that's a beacon to God. That's an alarm to God, telling God, oh, this person ain't getting no lover. Boom. Right then and there, your guardian angels take charge and they find the energy. They find where your energy done gone. Boom, somebody probably sacrificed you and this. Then they start bringing back order. They start putting the energy right back. So it ain't supposed to be a person out here alone. If you're alone, that's an alarming thing. Nobody is built on this planet alone. I'm not alone, I'm with God, literally. I heard that in my near-death experience. The angels talked about everybody on the planet who had a lover, and God and the angels said, well, what about Tat? God said, don't worry about Tat, I'm gonna be with Tat. You can't argue with that. What's better than that? Okay? So, anyway, back into this little test that you thought you had something going on good in. When you really just ensured yourself to go straight to a bad place when you leave here. If you don't clean up this mess while you here. And even then, you probably still gotta go there. You gotta hope God and pray God have mercy on you. Because this was truly wicked and disturbing. That's why a lot of y'all had to be addicts just to continue it. Now, so, what happened is God see this. And as he see this, he start to descend you as well. You don't even notice this. But your stuff becomes stuck. So if you're doing the actual test, they're going to make you think. They know this. This is like the witches and warlock know this. Well, you got to go find your beat. You got to go find it. But see, it's going to be hard for you to find it when they choking you and rolling you. Because this is what I found out. It's like moon cycles. It's like moon cycles when this energy, your particular energy come around, and then when your particular energy come around, your energy got to be vibrating at a certain frequency so it can be resonated, so they can, so your energy can notice your energy and come back to your energy. The chances of that happening is 1% out of 100%. So I just nailed it, pretty much, almost, why certain men are stuck in the exotic field. Because if you were doing this in any kind of way, now we see why the Bible say don't do it at all. I figured out how to beat it though. But it's a process, it's still a long process. It's still a long process. But I figured out a way to beat it without indulging in the sin part of it. Now, like I said, 1% to 2%, you could try that and you might get it, but who's to say it ain't gonna leave again? Especially if they got these tools on you, these relics on you, these instruments on you. Let's just thank God that we getting to the bottom of this crap. And I love the fact that God told me that pretty much all men are built the same anyway. That made that throw the red flag up in the air with me off jump. At the jump. So you gotta watch who we laying up with. We gotta watch who we love. And that's why I say when you find your flame, your actual flame and your twin, you ain't gotta worry about them putting magic on you, because if they put magic on you, they gonna put magic on themselves. See, my flame had the hockey gear suit on, the goalie gear suit on. She was prepared because somebody buying it themselves. Like she said, I'm by that. And she was prepared to lose it all. Because somehow, whatever they were buying it to, they thought that thing was more powerful than God itself. Wrong. Now, so what we go from here? This is where we go from here. We're gonna go. What do you do then when you done got stuck? Some of y'all probably got stuck as kids, or you don't remember what happened to you, and somebody actually screwed you. That's another word for that, rolling and tucking and stuff. And that's when it falls under certain organizations. Somebody actually screwed you as a child and made you lose it. A witch, 9 times out of 10, like I said, from some organization. That's why I worry about my child when I do think about my child, because the people who put me in this situation is the one that got my child. And I hear about my child energy in the astro. When the ancestors, if it ain't a twin, when the ancestors, your ancestors, when you read cards, you'll notice this too. When they keep swapping your energy up, and you know that ain't your energy, and you like, what is this talking about? That's when somebody put magic on you. And they probably utilizing your twin flames or your kids. Or they doing hair samples, or they doing altar magic, or all of the above. This stuff is deep, powerful. That's why I say God told me all the story. Like, it was even one story that my family did something wrong to me, and my sister from Jersey and them had to make things right, because things kept getting worse and worse and worse. And they finally came and picked me up in the limo, and they gave me my stuff, put my stuff back in the rightful owner hands, and all the energy went back right, and everybody could live a better life. You don't get away with nothing. God watches everything. The trick in the matter is how we've been getting food and we've been getting screwed out of our blissfulness, and out of our good karma, is that we've been participating in their silly games. They need us to participate in them silly games to keep us descending. Now, I just showed you what that actually looked like from the spiritual to the physical. Now you understand what's really going on. Now you understand why you shouldn't be sinning at all. And also understand, to those who doppelganger me, you better be just doppelganger me temporarily, because I'm going through this process with God when it comes to training me, and I'm being protected. And when this training is over, I expect you to give me back to me. So these tests is over. And you ain't never heard me say that. I said, I do it if God tell me to do it, but these tests is over. Because I found out even worse stuff about these tests. What's further than that? Them taking parts off you. They can take your brain off of you. They can take all kind of stuff off of you just from doing that test. Which I'm going back to, and I'm saying the test, but that could just be fornication by itself. See, you gotta look at it, then you might say, well, such and such like this, such, but is they contaminated? That's a plague and a curse within itself. See, you try to do it secretly or innocently, which really wasn't innocent, which is really lukewarm, and that was a curse from that right there. This is deep stuff right here. And that's why I said that test is garbage. Straight up garbage. And it's really putting everybody on a pedestal that got anything to do with this test. And you can just sit back and watch, sit back and say, well, who are these people really working for then that's dealing with this test? And what are we doing? So it's like God is seeing everything. He's at the top of this pole. He see all these energies. From hell to heaven, every last energy on it. In the trillions. God see all these energies as if he's seeing one person. This is good stuff. So, what happened is this. What happened is this. Now, how do you fix this problem? You're gonna have to elevate to your higher self for real now. How do that work? Let me show you how that works. As you elevate to your higher self, your crest chakra, and I hope y'all do this because the ones who doppelganger me and copying and pasting me and hiding all my good lectures, they're trying to make me an enemy. If you start actually doing this, and you probably gonna start actually doing this because you got some stuff to fix within yourself, you're gonna realize you better hurry up and put myself back together. You're gonna realize you better hurry up and put me back together if you wanna even elevate up there. See, to elevate this high, you gotta start fixing yourself, fixing everything around you, and making sure that you are real to yourself. So it's almost a win-win with God. So let's say you were planning on being a sinner, and you but really wasn't serious about getting there. Well, when it comes down to sex, I can pretty much guess. I ain't gonna say it like that though. But yeah, you gotta elevate. So what happened is when you elevate, you're gonna elevate to higher class of energies. And these energies gonna put you back together. Even if they gotta print you out new parts. So now we get the store. Now we get the store where the store come in at. After they done auction all these parts off. Cause see, when you doing drugs, this same matter works with anything else. So let's say you're doing drugs and you start looking bad yourself. You ain't really doing bad, you ain't really eating bad. You still doing good, you just doing the drug all the time. Well, and you start looking bad. Well, that's what it is, because they done put you in that decomposing line. They done started taking parts off you, and they taking parts off you and putting it in the store. So you got good parts that's in the store. So these people that's starting to elevate with God and get to this crest chakra with God, that the parts that they lost while they were sinners in this life, they get them back as they elevate with God. I'm not from Brooklyn. That's one of my nephews playing me. You better be trying to help me. Ain't nobody playing with y'all. I'm not from Newark, New York. I just travel to these places. I'm from Georgia. I got 82 doppelgangers. 82 of them. Y'all ain't seen me, ain't heard from me, probably can't see me. But I think it's just for protection anyway, so it's all good. But so you gotta elevate. So let's say you in a situation where you stuck from doing the test. How do you get unstuck? You're gonna have to elevate with God. And they gonna look for your frequency. They gonna look for your frequency for a while. But you can't keep it going because they're gonna keep descending you from God. You got a better chance of just healing. When you start healing, they're gonna put you in this slot of pretty much rehabilitation, and you rebuild yourself, self-healing basically. They call it something. It's basically where you put your body put itself back together. You go and you purchase. So how do you purchase stuff at this store? You heal, you stop telling lies, you stop gossiping, stop being a crook. You stop doing this stuff as you elevate with God. And you earn coins, you earn money. That's where money currency come from in the physical. It's actually started in the spiritual. You earn currencies. You earn money by being good. And you can buy stuff in the spiritual. You can have a whole bad tube when it comes to a woman's garden. And if you elevate with God, it'll heal all that. I promise you, guaranteed. If I ain't mistaken, I think my brother Jesus Christ said when he returned again, everybody gonna know how to heal. Now, I could be wrong. I done read so much stuff and mixed up so much stuff. My mind ain't like that, you know what I'm saying? It don't really capture and keep what it want to. Because it's already got enough in it when it comes down to the Akashics. So, that's what it is. So you gotta elevate to heal yourself. So you let's say you're a female, you got a garden. And like I said, you got a middle, you got an end, and you got a beginning. Normally 1 out of 3 of those is gonna be rotten if you've been sleeping with bad partners, if not the whole tube. But 1 is really bad enough. So if you wanna heal that tube, you can also do the same thing. And when you heal, when you elevate, you get to better, well, I ain't gonna say better, but you move up a class when it comes down to spiritual physicians. And they gonna go buy you a new tube out of that store in the spiritual. And that's how people mysteriously get healed. And they call it a miracle. So I hope everyone got this or somebody got it. It's pretty quiet out here lately ever since I stopped doing your little test, which is somewhat sad, but it's kind of good because I've been wanting y'all to get up out my energy anyway, because it's weird. But anyway, that's what I want to say. Yeah, that's what I want to say. And y'all keep putting this crash, you think it's funny, and you just doing that because I'm not doing your test. Well, let's see if anybody do it at all now. You always want to mess with somebody's computer, just disgusting. Everything around you is breaking down and you still going. Somebody is a whole devil out here. Somebody done lost their soul completely and on a rampage. Now, I don't know who this person is, but somebody is a whole entire devil. Ever since I said it, it's like they was waiting on it. Ever since I said that commercial, that's my worst commercial. This commercial been coming on back to back. That's why I said you the same person that if I came out here and had fun with these rocks on the ground, you'll come out here and pick up all these rocks off the ground. Somebody should have been there exercised you. Because if they're going to keep you in position, keep you in power, whatever position you in, you need an exorcism, period. Bad, real bad. real bad. Like spiritual say, real bad. You need an exorcism. I swear, y'all, they'll come out here and pick up all these rocks. If I come out here and build a mountain out of these rocks, they'll come out here and pick every rock up off the ground. And the family and the community will help them. Just to see me frown. Whoever this person is, I hope before God truly shut all this down, I get to see you eye to eye. If I haven't already seen you, I still want to see you after the fact. My God.